back to Emily Spins It. I'm Emily, and today I'm with a very special guest. This is Tansu. Hello, Tansu.
Hi, so happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you. Can you maybe introduce us to who our little special guest is?
This is Maggie. She is our tripod girly, and she's the best girl in the world.
She is the best girl in the world. We all had to pay the cheese tax when we came in, but she's the most precious thing.
She is. She's a good girl. We're both happy to have you guys here today.
Well, thank you for being such great hostesses. How has living in Harlem and also like your heritage and the influence from all those divas really impacted the way you write music now?
Honestly, in terms of my songwriting process, what affects me the most is what I'm going through.
Okay.
So I'll take whatever emotion I'm feeling, and if I'm going through something really specific, I will urge my producer to drop what he's doing and take a moment to write with me. When I wrote Downtown, which is on the city, I had just started dating my current husband, and I was very frustrated with him because I wanted him to come out, and he was like, no, I'm going to stay at home. And this was in the early stages when it was still kind of trying to figure out each other's emotions.
Yeah.
And I got really annoyed. And I was just like, why would he not want to meet me downtown? Like, I'm out, I'm looking cute. He lived in Williamsburg at the time, and I was in the Lower East Side. Walk over the bridge. Yeah. I'm right here.
Do you not want to see me?
Hello? So, and I had a couple drinks, and so I texted Dave, and I was like, I'm coming over and we're writing. And Downtown is about my frustration about him not meeting me.
You have an EP coming out called Two, right? Yeah. What changes have there been in your personal life between the city and Two, and how are you capturing those in your new EP?
Well, Two is a very literal title.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to come up with this title because I find the presence of certain letters to be very powerful on an EP title. Like, I didn't want anything with the letter S because I just didn't like it.
Sure.
Even though Tansu has an S in it, I didn't want it as the title. The reason why I've named the second EP Two is because literally it's my second EP.
Yeah.
And I'm also dedicating this EP to two lives. The first one being my father, who I lost last year, and the second one being the one I'm growing right now.
That's so exciting.
So it's got the biggest difference between the city and Two, the biggest life changes are the loss of my father.
Sure.
The EP opens up with a song called A Song for Dad, which I wrote the day he passed away.
Wow.
I was in Nashville on a writing trip when I got the text from my mom, and she said very, very kindly, your father has joined his parents. And, you know, he was almost 92. It wasn't unexpected, but it still hurts.
Yeah.
And I was just pacing around my producer's apartment for 2 hours. I couldn't leave Nashville. There was a snowstorm.
Jeez.
And I didn't know how to define my emotions for a couple of hours. I was just pacing around, calling my mom, calling my husband, calling my brother. And then when it hit me that I wouldn't be leaving anytime soon and that this was real, I did what I do when I need to have a refresh, and that is take a shower. So I jumped in the shower, and I just had this melody come over me over the word goodbye. And then I walked downstairs, towel on my head, and sat at the piano and started playing some chords. And I went up to Dave and I was like, okay, let's write. Let me see what I can do. And it was a beautiful experience. Dave and I are usually very volatile in the studio. I want what I want. He wants what he wants. And we always come to the same conclusion, but we yell to get there.
Yeah.
It is what it is. No one gets hurt. We're just very
clearly
animated.
it works for you guys. Yeah.
But for this session, it was so beautiful and calm. It was very quiet outside because the snow has started to fall.
Yeah. I feel like when snow falls, it's a blanket that creates like a mute outside.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And the recording of it is very raw. You can hear me crying on the song.
Yeah.
It's unlike any other vocal take I've had. And I wrote the song in like 20 minutes. It comes from a very real emotional place. My father would have loved the fact that I was writing a song about him in that moment.
Yeah.
He would have been like, yes, yes, baby. I love that you're doing this for me.
That's really sweet.
Yeah, it was nice. So, kind of going back to your question, my songwriting really comes from a very specific emotional place. When I was younger, and then when I was in high school and college, I listened to music to help define my emotions, to help if I was fighting with a friend or if I was frustrated with class. I would listen to music to help me define what I was going through and to also just help me escape for a moment and to live in that song.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how music has been there for me in that way. And so when I'm writing my music, I like to think that someone can find their solstice in my songs.
It's really nice.
So that's where I come from.
'Cause hot girls always win.
Thanks for listening to Emily Spins It, presented by the Indie Music Network and Not Dead Yet Media. This episode was produced by Heather DeArmas and edited by me, Emily Mills. Our intro and outro music is Hot Girls Always Win by Really Blonde. If you've enjoyed the episode, please support the podcast by sharing, subscribing, and leaving a review. You can also follow the show on Instagram and YouTube at Emily Spins It. For more shows about breaking through the noise, head over to the Indie Music Network podcast. If you have questions or feedback, contact us at notdeadyetmedia.com/contact.